In this video tutorial, we're going to be making this washcloth. You'll see here I made this one out of acrylic yarn, but we're planning on doing it out of cotton yarn. The yarn that we will be using is made by Lily Sugar and Cream in the color red. The hook that we will be using is a Susan Bates size G 4.00 millimeter hook and a pair of scissors. Before we start, I'd like to encourage you to pull yarn out of your skein. I like using the center pull, and I'm going to pull out probably about 5 feet, so that way my tension will remain the same as I create my stitching. So to begin, we're going to start with a short tail. I'm going to place a slip knot on our hook. You want the first one to be a little loose because we will be placing our stitching in there. So let's go ahead and chain 3 and back into that first chain we're going to place 3 double crochets. This first one can be a little tricky, but we'll get it in there. The nice thing too about this cotton yarn is it's super soft, so as you use it to take a bath, wash dishes, whatever you choose to use it for, it'll be soft. Just after you use it, to make sure you wash it out really well. So after we have our 3 double crochet, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. And of course, since I pulled out so much, my yarn is following me. Okay, so in this first stitch right here, we're going to place 3 double crochets. Okay, we're going to skip over this 1 double crochet, and in the next, just before our chain stitch here, we're going to go ahead and place 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is what we have so far. Chain 3, turn your work. In our first one, we're going to start our pattern. We're going to place 2 double crochets. Alright, and our next stitch will go right here in this chain. This little loop you see right here on your chain. So yarn over and snuggle it in, and you're going to go behind your work. We're going to do a 2 pull puff stitch. So here's our number 1. We want to bring the yarn all the way up to our hook. Yarn over, place your finger on there, go back into that same hole, draw up a loop, make it so that all the loops are the same. Now we're going to go through the 1, 2, 3, 4 loops, leaving this last one. So go through those 4 loops, yarn over through the last 2. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and in between the two DC clusters that we have here, we're going to place 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Now we're going to make our puff stitch. So what you want to do is, I'm right-handed, so on the right side you're going to pull apart that last double crochet, and that will be where you're going to be placing your hook. So yarn over, place your finger on that loop, go through between those, the last double crochet, and pull it up so that your loop lines up here. Place your finger back on it, go through that hole one more time, bring up another loop, make sure all the loops are the same, yarn over through those 4 loops, yarn over through the last 2. And this is what we have so far. It's a pretty stitch. Now on this one you can see that we have the 3 double crochets, so you're going to skip the 2, and in that last one just before the chain stitch we're going to place 2 double crochets. You want to pick up those the 2 chain on the top of the stitch. Every once in a while I have, mostly when I'm filming. Okay, so we have 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to do our puff stitch. Now this last one is our chain, so we don't want that there. Here's our last double crochet right here. We're going to go in between those right there. We're going to make our puff. Yarn over through those 4 loops, and then yarn over for those last 2. Now before we move up, you want to slide your work over, and in that last stitch where we placed our 2 double crochets, we're going to place 1 more. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Now our next row, we're going to be seeing an increase. Oh, chain 3, and let's turn our work. You'll notice that as we did this, we did it on the outside, we did it in the middle, and we're doing it on the outside. So here we're going to do on the outside, middle, middle, and outside again. I'm going to show you how to do this row, and then I'm going to encourage you to do by yourself until you have 10 clusters across, and then I'll show you how we're going to decrease and create the top of our heart. But for now, let's go back here and do this. In that first stitch right there, 2 double crochets, and then in that loop of the chain we're going to place a puff stitch. Let me pull some more yarn out. I'll be right back. Sometimes you just don't pull enough out, do you? Okay, so we got our loop on our hook, yarn over, and let's go into that chain piece right there. Draw up a loop, and we're going to stretch it. Okay, so that it's stretched out. Yarn over again, back through that same loop, and draw up a loop. I got to be honest with you, I like working with this cotton yarn because it doesn't stretch, it doesn't go back in if you move the hook around. It's so easy to work with. So we're going to yarn over through those first 4 and then yarn over through those last 2. Okay, so we go now in between our 2 double crochet cluster areas here. I know they're not really cluster stitches, but they are a cluster of what we're doing here. So the 2 double crochets. Now we're going to pull that last double crochet over, and we're going to place our puff stitch in there, our 2 wrap puff stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2. Let's do this again. I'll go with you to the end of this row. Remember, each row you will chain 3 to move up. Okay, here's our DC stitch. And then we're doing our puff. Yarn over through the 4, yarn over through the 2. Now remember, we skip 1, 2, and in that third, 2 double crochets. Okay, we don't do the chain, we do the last double crochet, go in between that last double crochet right there and pull up a puff stitch. Yarn over through the 4, and don't forget the last double crochet. We have to slide that over. That last double crochet where the other 2 were at. Chain 3, turn your work. Okay, so we now have 4 here. Continue until you have 10 across, and then I'll meet you there. So this is where we are stopped at. We have 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Chain 3 and turn your work. We're going to be starting on the decrease, so we're going to be making less double crochets across the top. So we're going to skip this section right here, and between those 2 we're going to place 3 double crochets. You see how I pulled some out? It all wants to jump in there. Okay, now we're going to go back and do our puff stitch right here. I'm going to do 2 of them between that last and the second one of the double crochets there. Okay, so we're going to skip our next. We're going to place 2 double crochets and go back for our puff stitch. Okay, we're going to do this 1, 2 more times, and then we'll do the third one. Wait a second, wait a second. Well, you caught me in a blooper. Let's continue on. We're going to place 2 in this next one. So this will be our third double crochet cluster piece. Okay, and we'll do our popcorn or our little puff here. 1, 2. Now on our next one we're going to do 3 double crochets. So this one right here. So 3 double crochets. Okay, then we do our little puff back. And there's 1, and there's 2. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. So in this next space right here, we're going to do a slip stitch. So you can see how our section right here will be coming down for the center. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so since we just did this here, in this one you're going to place 3 double crochets and then the puff stitch, 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets. Remember your puffs in each one of them. And when you finish that last one, stop right there and pause your video right now, and I'll show you how to finish the end of that row. So after this last cluster here, into this stitch, the last double crochet stitch right here, we're going to place 1 double crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work. Alright, we're still going to be decreasing, so we will not add anything here. We're going to go right to here, 3 double crochets, okay, and our little puff stitch there. Okay, so in this one we're going to do 2, and in the next one we're going to do 3. Go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what to do next. Can you see the shape turning already? I'm excited. Okay, let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and right here on this double crochet we're going to place a slip stitch, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and right here I'm going to do a single crochet. It's going to go over all of that. So pull up a loop, make your threads go into the center of that slip stitch that was there before, and then let's close it off. Okay, and then chain 3, and slip stitch, chain 3. Okay, and now you're going to do the same thing that we did on this side. 3 double crochets, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then you'll do a double crochet into this last right here. Go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you for the next row. Alright, we still have a few more rows. Chain 3. Let's turn our work. So in these two right here, you're going to do 3 with your puff, 3 with your puff, and then go ahead and stop there, and I'll show you what to do next. So after our 2 double crochets, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the top of the third, whoops, I'm doing a single crochet there, of the third double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the top of that other slip stitch, chain 3. Okay, so here we are at our center again. We're going to do an elongated single crochet. So pull yourself up a longer loop, and snug it up if you need to. Okay, chain 3. Let me show you what mine looks like. Okay, single crochet, slip stitch. Oh my gosh, I got single crochet on the brain. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slip stitch into the double crochet there. So chain 3 and place your 2, 3 double crochets with the double crochet at the end. And we have one more row to do. Now for our last row, I'm going to suggest that that could be optional, because the way that the heart looks now is very heart-like. If we add another row to it, it will make it a little bit looper up here. But I'm going to show you what to do in case you choose you would like to do it. You chain 3. We're going to place the 3 double crochet, and then we'll do our puff stitch, chain 3, okay, and slip stitch into the top of that double crochet, chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that slip stitch, chain 3. We got another slip stitch here, chain 3. Then we're going to go ahead and do our long single crochet again. If you want, you can make it just a little bit tighter. That'll help draw it in just a little bit more. And then we're going to chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, and slip stitch, oh, I just did a single crochet, didn't I? Sorry about that. Chain 3 and into the top of that double crochet, chain 3, and we're going to do the 3 with the puff, and then we'll do that final double crochet. Go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you in a minute. So go ahead and cut your yarn, pull your end in, and go ahead and weave this in. We now have a real pretty washcloth. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make this heart washcloth. I hope you use it and think of the love that you've put into it. Give it as a gift to somebody. You can probably add a little bow or a little flower. You could use it for many other things too if you wish. So thank you for joining me in this video. I really appreciate you coming, and I hope to see you again sometime. My name is Garnet. Have a great day. Bye-bye.